What's up guys, welcome to my very first YouTube video. So today I want to get into the story of how I found Amazon FBA and how I ultimately got to where I am now. So I started basically following someone who was flipping books on eBay and on Amazon non-prime to prime. And I ended up buying this course for about $40. And this was in July of 2021. And it honestly blew my mind that I could make money just flipping books from eBay to Amazon. So I took the chance because it was only $40. It was such a low risk business that I can get into while I was in grad school for accounting. So I ultimately started that business. I started flipping these books. Now I had some fair amount of success. I was making great margins, but it really wasn't as scalable as I wanted it to be. So I ended up branching into thrift books. So I would go into these thrift stores and then buy these books for super cheap, selling them for about $50 or so. Sometimes these books would be hundreds of dollars and it was a great payday. And it really helped me build up my capital to get where I am now with arbitrage. So I ended up also getting into toys around the thick of Q4 in 2021. So I was buying a bunch of toys, A to A flips, Target, Walmart, all this stuff, putting it on a no APR credit card, really stupid, stuff that a beginner might do. But it ended up working out for me. I made a lot of money in December. I made around $7,000 and I was shocked. Like that was as much money as I've ever made in a month in my entire life. So I ultimately ended up dropping out of what I was doing because I didn't want to be an accountant my whole life. I knew that was not where I wanted to head. I just had this feeling, that I would ultimately quit in the next few years, but it really took off a lot faster than I thought, and that's something that just tends to happen. If you're really focused and going full speed ahead, you're gonna get to the goal quicker than you think. So I then made this super tough decision. To this day is definitely the hardest decision I've ever made in my life, and it was to get out of grad school and go full-time with Amazon FBA. And all my classmates, they thought I was crazy. They thought I was losing my mind. And it turns out they were the ones that were wrong, but that's just how things work, So yeah, then faced a very tough conversation with my parents as well. They didn't want me to do it. I come from a family of accountants, so it was kind of what I was expected to do. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to fall into that line, that like straight line that where they wanted me to go. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I ultimately knew I wanted to run a business. So I ended up switching to online arbitrage in January of 2022, and that's really when my life started to change. I was also doing books at the time, so I made a ton of money that month as well, just flipping books because of the busy season when kids go back to college. So that was great. That really set me up with a nice like $15,000, $20,000 that I can throw into arbitrage and take this chance. So then sales started to progress. I started to learn how arbitrage worked. It was really tough at first. I made a ton of mistakes. I tried to do test buys, but I went in over my head. There was a ton of things that just didn't work out at first, but I stuck with it. I put in the hours, I kept going, and that was the biggest thing in my story, was to just push through the pushback, because it's not gonna work out at first. You're gonna face adversity, especially when you get into something that has the potential to create, a multi-million-dollar business. We've seen a ton of people in the arbitrage space create seven-figure businesses, myself as well. It takes a lot of that hours. You have to become a master at what you're doing, and that's really where I spent those months. I spent hours and hours a day learning how to source, and then learning it was a lot of patterns, learning what patterns that made a profitable product. And that's basically where the majority of my time went. I was spending a lot of time prepping. That was my next hurdle. I had to outsource that in June of 2022. So that really helped me get better at sourcing because I had more time to source. And then I also eventually got to the point where I hired VAs, and then that got me over to the six-figure mark. And that's really where my life changed. When I, 6 figures a month, consistently month over month. And now we're here in 2023. I've achieved $1 million in sales the last year or so. So, that's really just a story of just not giving up and pushing through the adversity, because there is going to be adversity on your journey. So I thought that story would just really inspire you guys, and I really wanted to tell it because, you know, I've been on Instagram and posting short form content, but it's only a minute. There's only so much I can say. And I really want to make this more of a weekly thing, so I will be uploading videos every week. So if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. Tune into the next one.